All right, so all of you guys have got your 30 by 30 at 1/4 of an inch to a foot cube completed. Okay, that was one of the ones that you were asked to do, I think, last week or something. What we want to do right now is I want you guys to start to wrap your head around this notion of scale, and I've printed out for you guys, and you guys will all get a copy of it, this drawing right here, which is a rhino unrolled surface of a cube, okay? And it's a 30-foot cube. This one is at 1/8 of an inch to a foot, okay? So what I want you guys to do is to see that you guys are going to be building a model of this smaller cube out of a different material, all right? And I want to just show you briefly how you might create that additional, or how you might do that. So what I'm going to do is, there's a couple different ways to approach this. One way is you can take spray mount, and you can spray the back of this and kind of adhere it down to a piece of chipboard. My suggestion for building this thing is that you use this gray chipboard. It's very inexpensive. It's like, I don't know, a couple, $3 or something, and that it's a good material to work with when you're just developing sketch models. Okay, it's available at Carpe Diem for sure. I don't know if the Art Mart has any or not. Do you guys carry this stuff?
Joe was going to give us a price.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, so they don't have it right now, but anyway, so I'm going to do this without spray mount. I'm not a big fan of spray mount because students make a mess with it quite often. So I'm just going to show you a technique that I use to kind of make this stuff without using spray mount. I'm going to take a couple of little pieces out of it here and there. Make sure the camera sees all this. Yes? Does it see it now? I can scoot over a little bit too. Okay, so what I did is I took the piece of paper that I'm going to give, that you guys are going to get a copy of, and I'm just going to tape it down with some drafting dots. And what I did is I cut holes in the middle so that it'll sort of stay there. And I'm just going to make sure that I very vigorously rub a drafting dot into that. Okay, might be useful to even do one on each of the extremities, so I'll come out here too. One over here. Spray mount's probably the fastest, easiest way to do it, but again, it's really messy. Okay, so from there, once I get that thing down to where it's not moving off the thing, I can just cut it out like I would normally would. With this, I'm actually going to, I have this ratty old triangle that's all got glue and crap on it. So I sometimes use that when I want to be able to see through it and what I'm cutting down beneath. So here goes. You know what, you guys are going to cut this very carefully with this. In order to not let this video get too long, I'm just going to freehand cut it. I'm pretty decent at freehand cutting. You guys definitely are not freehand cutting. If you do it in this technique, you might have to hold it down so that the paper doesn't like pull back as you're drawing the knife over it. Okay, so there, I now have my pattern for my cube. All I've got to do now is to create creases on each of these lines and then fold it up, and I'll end up with my cube surface already done. So that means I will use a straight edge so that it sees me just fine there, Natalie.
Yeah. So give it close up when you're done.
So what I'm doing, so that the camera can see it, is I'm putting a crease along each of these line edges. Okay? And that's going to allow me to create kind of a bend like that there. Nice clean bend at that point. And I'm not pushing too hard on the knife, so it's not cutting all the way through the paper. It's just kind of doing a score along the surface. If you look at the back side, you don't see anything, right? After this, if you want, you can take these pieces off. It doesn't matter anymore. Oops, looks like that one cut all the way through. That's fine. Okay. So right there, I start kind of bending these pieces, and what I do is I bend them past the 90-degree point so that it breaks the back of them. And right there, I now have a 1/8 inch version of that. Okay? It's the same cube at half scale. I can then take a little bit of glue and just sort of, glue it together, or I can just, if I want to do it quickly, I can do it with drafting dots. One of the mistakes I've just realized is that I probably shouldn't have had this paper on the chipboard when I cut out the pieces, because I cut all the way through, and so now my box has holes. All right, I don't want you guys to have holes in your boxes, so. See my boo-boo with the holes? Okay. Now, so there you end up with a 1/8 inch version of your 1/4 inch cube. Okay? Any questions about how to do that? No? All right. So that's going to be one of your things that you'll have to do for the next class period. Okay? All right. Go ahead and stop that.